All right, depravity lovers,
That's what he calls his subscribers.
please open to 168. I know some of you are stuck on page numbers, even though this is an epic poem and it has lines, not page numbers. Canto 20, line 1. I now must turn a strange new pain to verse. So I need to turn this pain into a poem, verse, or a song, and give some substance to this 20th chant that deals Cantica 1 with sunken souls. Already I'd set myself to peer intently on those now discovered depths, washed as they were with agonizing tears. I saw their people circling round that trench, and on they came in silence, weeping still, as slow in pace as litanies on earth. Then, as my gaze sank lower down these forms, each was revealed the wonder of it all, twisted around between the chin and thorax. The face of each looked down towards its coccyx, and each, deprived of vision to the front, came, as it must, reversed along its way. Okay, so in 1300, we had the biological term coccyx. That's news to me. I would have thought that was later on. Line 16, seized by some paralytic fit, others perhaps have been so turned awry, but I, not having seen myself, don't credit it. That God may grant you, as you read, the fruit that you deserve in reading. Think yourselves, could I have kept my own face dry to see, close by, that image of our human self so wrenched from true that teardrops from the eyes ran down to rinse them where the buttocks cleave? Of this, be sure, that leaning on a spur of that unyielding cliff, I wept. Are you, my escort said, like them, an idiot still? Line 28. Here pity lives where pity's truth is dead. Who is more impious, more scarred with sin than one who pleads compassion at God's throne? Pious, really religious, impious, not. Line 31. Lift up your head, stand straight. See that one there, under his chariot wheels, the earth yawned wide, and Thebes, all eyes yelled, where Amphiros, heading away? Why leave us in this strife? Into the ceaseless void he fell, until he came where Minos stands, who seizes all. He formed his chest amazingly from shoulder, as once he wished to see too far ahead. His tread is backwards, and he stares to rear. See there, Tiresias, male to female switch. That is heresy right there, people. Yeah, so, Grandpa Boomer, it's not just a teenager's going through a phase thing, evidently. Because it happened 800 years ago, too.
Oh my god, people live the way they want to live.
Is Tiresias a famous, not fitting, or,
Gender nonconforming?
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
41.
Sorry, what page?
171. You're in college, man. I'd be yelling at you right now. I almost want to. 41. 40. See, there, Tiresias, male to female switch. His looks mutating were entirely changed, his members altering till each was each. And then, to win once more his viral plumes, he needs must strike a second time and shake again at coupling snakes, his witch's wand. The word coupling pretty much always means sex in old literature. 46. Then spine to gut the prophet Aruns comes high in the Lenugiana hills over Carrara homesteads, so hard hoed by serfs. He found a grotto in the marble cliffs, and took this from his dwelling place. Nothing from there cuts off the view of sea or star. And then there's one whose breasts you cannot see, since these are mantled by her flowing strands, who shows on that side of her shaggy fleece. She once was Manto, scouring many lands until she reached and settled at my birthplace. And so, to please me, listen for a while. Her father, having left this life, and Thebes. Thebes is, I think, is a city-state of the Greek Empire.
Yes.
In fact, actually, Tiresias is the prophet. That's the word I was thinking of. He's the prophet for Apollo in Thebes, and he was a woman for 7 years. Specifically 7. I don't know.
Okay, 7 is I'm glad you looked that up. 7's is a number often used by people like Shakespeare and Dante and Virgil in their writing. And it's one of those things like people want to read it. It's like, do you read way too much into it, or do you just like let it go? Like, is it for the 7 deadly sins? Is it for the 7 stars of a constellation? Like, what's it for?
I think like just mathematically, because the universe is a bunch of math.
It's prime,
7
right?
is the most common number.
7's prime.
Yeah. Yes.
And that wouldn't have been lost on these people too. This is 1,000 years after Pythagoras. Actually, it's probably like 1,500 after, or 2,000 after Pythagoras. It would not have been lost on them. They already knew that 3 angles equal 180. They knew that.
Yeah.
They were mapping the stars right now and getting put in jail and executed because of it.
Doesn't that sound fun, guys?
Well, yeah, I think the Earth circles the sun. Off with your head.
Yeah, astrology's a sin.
And so then if I'd like said, oh, well, this star means that this is going to happen in your life because it's an astrophysiological belief system that off with your head. Okay, 58. Her father, having left this life, and Thebes, the place of Bacchus, being now in thrall, for years she traveled searching through this world. So Bacchus, I think, has something to do with wine. Because there's a vineyard in Walla Walla called the Bacchus Vineyard.
Isn't it?
Or are they referencing this?
I think it has, like, if you looked up Dionysus, like she lived in Bacchus or something like that.
Why do people keep calling Dionysus a woman?
Yeah.
I just misspoke.
Oh, yeah. Well,
But
I feel
isn't-
like it happened in the book too at some point. Maybe I'm misremembering.
It was a different person that was. I don't think it was a woman, but it was a different person that was often confused with Dionysus because they were 2 different names. But they say Dionysus in the book, and that's not who they're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Line 60. Being now in thrall, for years she traveled, searching through this world. Above, in lovely Italy, there lies a lake, in Latin, Binacus. Beneath those Alps that lock out Germany beyond the high Tyrol. From waters gathered, line 64. From waters gathered in that standing pool, 1,000 springs, I think, or more, refresh the lands between those peaks, Camonica and Garda. There's a place, the central point of these, where pastors, if they choose to sail from Brescia, from Verona, and from Trent, have power to bless. Here that brave citadel Perchera sits, built where the shoreline sinks to reach alow, boldly outfacing Bergamese and Brescians, cascading from the lap of Benacus, waters unstably must run down here. Through lush green meadows these all form a stream. 76. And this, when it begins to run, is known by name in Mincio, not Benacus. It meets the river Po around Cavernolo. I know some of you are probably going, God, we need to look all these up, but I'm going to just chalk it up to geography of Italy, and I'm sure we could look them all up and draw a map and draw arrows and stuff, but then that would start getting away from the story for me. So if you want to do that on your own, go for it. But I think we can get the big ideas without knowing every exact town they're talking about. But feel free if you want to. Moving, the Mincio at once dips down, then broadening in the plain, it forms a marsh. And this in summer can be foul and brackish. Manto, that bitter virgin, passing by saw, in the center of that great morass, a place unplowed and bare of population. There, fleeing still from human fellowship, she settled with her vassals, plied her arts, in this place lived, where left her empty corpse. Oh, here left her empty corpse. Then other peoples came who had so long been scattered all about, because the marsh surrounded it, the site was safe and strong. They raised their city over those dead bones. They called it Matua, no magic charm, since Manto first had made the place her own. Those living there were once more numerous before the idiotic Casalodi was so taken in by Pinamonti's trick. So if in other stories you should hear some tale of how my city came to be, don't let the truth, I urge, be mocked by lies. 100. Sir, I replied, to me your words are sure and capture so entirely what I think, that differing versions are as burned out coal. But let me know some more of this parade, that is, if any here still merit note. My mind is waiting only for that word. And so he said, the one who there fans wide his beard from cheek to shadowed shoulder blade was, in those years when Greece was void of men, when even in the candle boys were few and augur, he, with Calchas, cast the hour at which to cut the anchor ropes in Alice. By name, I should know this one, Eurypylus. There is some verse, poem, in my great tragedy play that sings of him, but you'll know where, you know the whole thing through. And then we meet, so withered in his flanks, a certain Scotsman, Michael, in the spheres of fraud and magic, he was full of pranks. There's Guido Bonatti, look, Astente too, the cobbler, shoemaker, must be wishing now he'd stuck to thread and leathers, too late to repent. Please, God, please. Then see those hags, women. They, one and all, forsook for witchcraft, distaff, needle, pin, and spool. They cast their spells with weeds on juju dolls. Oh, so...
And needle, pin, and spool, that's another good reference to Greek mythology.
I thought voodoo was like a 1600 slave thing from Africa. Maybe it was just refined, but you make a doll that looks like Lincoln. And you call the doll Lincoln. This is Lincoln. And then to like get back at Lincoln, I like jam a needle into his back. And he's like, oh, right when he's about to shoot a jumper.
Well, voodoo was the practice, and it's also...
That's just messed up.
I personally feel weird saying the word. I know some people are like, yeah, you can say voodoo, but other people are also like, But it was a whole practice. It wasn't just specifically that. It was a form of paganism.
I'm horribly generalizing here. I'm very stereotypically generalizing. But it's fascinating if you ever want to know. You get quite a bit of it when you read The Crucible. Things like a frog equals fertility, and they were dancing around a cauldron with a frog in it because they were all boy crazy and they wanted to start dating.
Isn't that relatable though?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
I love you.
The poor frog.
Did you ever do it?
Put the frog in cold water first, then it won't know it's dying.
Exactly. But only if you lobotomize
Line 2124. Disregard. Delete that, YouTube. Don't listen to that part. But come, now, come. The zone where hemispheres both meet by now is gripped, and underserved Seville waves are touched by Cain with his bush and thorns. And yesterin's the rounding moon was full, and must remember this, It shone while you, unharmed, were deep within that first dark wood. And so he chatted on, and we faced forward. Before we turn it, the line 24 were hemispheres. I don't know if the church thought the earth was round in 1300. So just saying that hell is circular is kind of saying, I think the earth is circular. And I bet you a lot of popes in 1300 would have said, nope, it's flat.
Hell was flat, guys.
And I guess you could say, well, if you took the circles off, they would be flat circles. But just throwing the word hemisphere out, I think, is blasphemous. Canto 21. So on we went from bridge to bridge, speaking of things that I shan't. Weird. Who was in the class yesterday where the word shan't? Zach. Line 2. Things that I shan't. Shall not. It's a contraction of shall not. I never knew that until yesterday. Things that I shall not, shan't, in this comedy commit to song. We gained the brow once there. We paused, and down in rotten pockets we saw another fissure still, more empty tears. I saw it all, marvel of mere dark compare. Venetians, Venice, Italy, in their arsenal in winter when their ships cannot set sail, brew up a vicious pitch when they then smear on ailing boards or else lay down new hulls. Others will plug the ribs of hulks that have by now made many long haul trip. Some hammer at the prow, some at the poop, some whittle oars. That seems like a wrong. They're talking about either building or fixing their ships during winter. Line 13, some hammer at the prow, some at the poop. Is it? That sounds right. Is it something called a poop deck?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And what is that?
There's starboard and then poop deck. They're on opposite sides of the ship, I believe. Is that right?
I believe so, yeah.
I just wanted to say, I heard you say shan't, and I was like, and he's got to say something about that to class. That was also in 6th grade.
Timely and topical. So, okay, some at the poop, some whittle oars where others plate the rig, some mend the mainsail, others patch the jib. So here, though more by art of God than fire, a dense black gunge was brought to boiling point and splashed on all the banks in sticky smears. I saw this stuff and nothing else within but bubbles as the boiling bubbled on, swelling to roundness, gluily sinking in. In mesmerized amazement I just gazed, but then, look out! Look out! My leader cried, then dragged me where I'd stood towards his side, and there against his side again. And there I turned as one who may well pause, all swagger and his sudden panic gone, to peep at what he really ought to flee. Line 28. Yet, glimpsing this, does not delay his parting. I saw there right behind us this black demon running the ridge around in our direction. Eek! How ferocious all his features looked. How viciously his every move seemed etched, wings wide apart, so lithe and light of foot. Why is the demon black?
Okay, Tigan.
Writing that down.
Don't say that.
You asked him, Tigan. You better ask him that.
Go when you go to hell.
Why
you're asking
is
for
the
They have a problem with
demon
blacks?
black? Tigan.
Well,
Thank you.
That needs to go on the quote.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that they mean that it's like a pitch black like color. I'm also gonna go ahead and assume that's not what they called black people in the 1300s.
probably didn't say the word black for black people in 1300. That's a good point.
And if white is the color of God, obviously black is gonna be the color.
Yeah, no,
the color. White is the color of God. Right?
Yeah, it's the whole thing like white is purity, black is darkness type thing.
But I feel like there is definitely
Line 34. The hunch blades of his shoulders, keen and proud, bore up the haunches of some criminal, his hook fixed firm in tendons at each heel. Mounting our bridge, demonically he barked, "Get this, route close! A boss man from Lucre! You lot can dunk him! I'll get back for more. I've got it stuffed. Saint Zita's place with this salt. They're at it there, the lot. Oh, not Bontero. Cash on the nail, and no becomes for sure. Dumping this load, and then dash down and cross the flinty slope. No mad bull mastiff ever was loosed so fast to catch a thief. The sinner dived, but then turned writhing up, at which the demons, dosed seen by that bridge, yelled, "No place, black-faced! Here for black-faced gods!"
Huh.
Okay, well.
Maybe.
It also wasn't called blackface back then. It was
That's
called
what
Yeah.
blackface didn't exist yet.
Looks like your old buddy Tigan might have been onto something there.
Is it also, isn't it a more modern translation too?
When were you
I
talking
don't know if
about
that applies.
Yeah, when was this translated?
the Earth thing round, or when were you in reference to, like, which part were you talking about?
It was in Canto 20.
Okay.
And at the end,
The zone where hemispheres both meet.
yeah.
Okay, so apparently it's a myth that Christians ever believed in the flat Earth, and they actually knew it was round from a very early, like, time in human history. Like, they probably would have, educated people anyways, probably would have known that the Earth was round in the 1300s. I don't know where the conspiracy theory came from, but it's not from old Christians.
I mean, didn't Christopher Columbus think it was shaped like a pear?
And honestly, that's kind of right.
Yeah.
He was
We're like a water balloon because of all the
Basically.
pressure.
Yeah.
It's just kind of
But
a
he
weird
also thought it
wobbly.
had a stem.
Line 49, Canto 21. You can't swim here like bathers in the Sergio. If you don't want to know what hooks can do, then just don't poke your nose above the tar. They sank in him 100 bobs or more. Down here, they sang. You'll tango in the dark. Get under cover. Pull what scams you can. So they tangoed in 1300. Weird. Chefs do the same. They get their kitchen boys to fork the center of a simmering pot so chunks of meat do not float up too high. Here too, seem not to be here, sir now said. Just hunker down behind a spur of rock. It may still offer you some place to hide. You have no fear. Oppose me as they may. My strategy, I know what's what, is clear. I've been involved in rooks like this before. 64. So now, beyond the bridgehead, on he went, and needed, when he neared embankment 6, the steadiest front that he could summon up, with all the fury of tempestuous rage and dog packs rushing on some poor old tramp who freezes there and pleads from where I'd reached. So now those demons underneath the arch stormed out at him and brandished all their hooks, but he cried out, "Don't even think of it! Before you set on me with curving prongs, let one of you who'll hear me out draw near, and then discuss if hooking me is right or wrong. So, go on, rotten tail," they shrieked. "That's you!" And he advanced. The others kept their ground and muttered, "What will he get out of it?" "Do you imagine, Rottentail," my teacher said, who've seen my come already once, immune to all your tricks, that I am here without the favoring aid of fate or will divine? Let us pass on, for heaven wills that I should guide another on the savage way. His arrogance at this took such a fall. Yes, he let his hook slip dangling to his heels. "Okay," he told the others, "let's not cut him." Will somebody look up Canto 21's demon hooks?
Yeah.
And now my leader turned and said, "O thou who sittest there squatting by that splintered bridge, return to me with confidence renewed." So shift I did. I reached him speedily, at which the demons all came pressing forwards, so I could not be sure they'd keep their word. In this way the Caprona, once I saw the infantry come edging out, despite safe conduct, chary on the hordes around, huddled against my leader's side. Again, huddled against my leader's side. Pressed hard, that's been like 20 times now. Pressed hard along him, head to toe. I could not wrench my eyes from them. Their looks did not look good. and you look up Virgil and Dante art, and that's all that they're side by side, totally head to toe touching each other as they're walking in hell. At least in the arts, in the artist's eye.
So it's exactly what they're saying about the chefs do the same. They get their kitchen boys to fork the center of a simmering pot so chunks of meat do not float up too high. It's just a boiling pit with a bunch of people in it, and they use their hooks to poke them back down if they try to escape.
Oh, thank you. A boiling pit sounds like tar.
Yeah, that was my thought.
I thought at first they were using the tar to like waterproof the ship's holes, but no,
They're using it.
Yeah, that's also what I 100% agree with you because
Maybe
they were
they're-
talking about you can't do boats in winter, and so they were putting stuff on it. So, yeah.
and torturing people
And torture.
for all of eternity.
All
Yay!
the good stuff, guys.
Line 100. They cocked their barbs. Then one spoke out, "Want me to touch him on his fat backside?" And they replied, "Yeah, get him on the notch." But then that devil, who was still in speech with my great leaders, swung around at speed and said, "Just cool it, Tangletop. Further along this crag," he now declared, "you just can't go. Bridge 6 is broken down. It lies in ruins in the valley floor. But if you care to it's like hiking. Still further on, then do so round this arching cliff. Nearby another outcrop makes a path for you. Just yesterday, 5 hours ahead of now, 1,000 years, 2 centuries, and 66 from when this path was cut had then elapsed. I'll send in that direction some of mine to watch for any sinner scenting air. You go with them. They won't dare pull a stunt. So forward, Crackis, forward, Flash Ali. So he began. And Badog, you as well, and you, old twirly tufts, can lead the squad. Love's lot as well, and you too, Dragon Runt, Big Pig, with tusks, and also Scratcherker, Flutterby, Farard, and you there, Mad Glogob. How many of these are like Charmander?
Like
Are any of
Pokemon.
these Pokemon or Magic or any of those?
Sounds like things that would be, but
Maybe
no.
magic, but not Pokemon.
Definitely not Pokemon.
Oh, okay, by the way, apparently these demons are called Black Talons, which is translated to...
Why is it always black with you?
with me! Or they're called Malakota. So if that's the better one, take that.
Because we like diversity, Tigan, that's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Me-
we're
in
woke.
Europe.
Are
Me
you
too.
anti-diversity, Tigan?
I love
Also,
these
none of
guys.
us in here are
We're talking
black.
little woke heads.
That Nick's is Hispanic.
Huh?
You're Hispanic or
Half Hispanic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either way,
That face you made, you were like,
But don't put people on blast or anything. I mean,
you just like laughing at
Crackus, Flashily, Bad Dog, Twirly Tufts, Love's Lot, Dragon Rut, Scatchurker, Glogob, Flutterby, Big Pig.
I'm gonna go with these are the names of the demons.
I like
Yeah.
Flutterby.
Oh no, it's kind of cute sounding. I'm struggling to make them sound mean. I'm trying to make them sound evil, but they sound like friendly demons now.
Why does Flutterby sound like my best friend?
That sounds like Fluttershy.
I know, like Twirly Tufts. Twirly Tufts sounds like someone I want to cuddle with.
That sounds like genuinely sounds
Why
like
could
Pokemon names.
all
So that's
these
really
be
close
due
to
to
Pokemon.
translation? These could also not
Probably.
be their names.
Can we see
Yeah.
what their names are in
Yeah,
Italian?
actually, let me go back and forth.
Yeah, can you read the Italian side, sir?
Farmigilone is
Okay,
tangled.
Italian side, since we're going to finish, no problem. Italian side 1. Can I use my accent?
Yes.
No,
No.
you're racist.
Oh, I only got 1 and 2 no's.
Fine, yes.
115. Io mando vossala di questi miei ricordos canzone schierina. Che calor. Line 118. Tratiavente al lecchino Calcabrina. Oh, I like the dragon one. 121. Dragoznazo.
These still sound cool, but not people. They still sound like people I would hang out with.
Okay, 124.
Maybe that's the point.
Search all around this pan of boiling lime until you reach the spur that arcs, and broken over these dens, these two will go unharmed. Sir, sir, I said, what this I see? Please, sir, if you know how, and where, let's go alone. Myself, I didn't ask for this at all. Your eyes are usually so very keen. Can you not see? Just look. They grind their teeth. Their frowns are warnings of what harm they mean. His answer was, I wouldn't have you frightened. Let them scowl so and grind as they may choose. They mean it for the souls in this sad stew. About face, leftwards on the rocky pass, each poked a tongue, teeth clenched, towards their lord, and he, to give them order now, quick, march, in answer made a trumpet of his horse. And yes, that is the A